General Authority of Civil Aviation System, Part 1. General Authority of Civil Aviation has modules for Airworthiness Department, Flight Operations, Airspace Navigation, Aerodrome, Ground Services, Helipad, Legislation State Letter System, CORSIA Reporting System, and Surveillance. Today, we're going to focus on a training session how to use the CORSIA reporting system. The CORSIA reporting system login form. This is all we start with. The CORSIA login system has a username and a password. The choices are either to log in or to change the password or to quit application by cancel button. After you click on for login, a main page for CORSIA reporting system shows the menu of reporting button, CRT reports, ER reports, and ICAO report, and finally the audit trail report. The CORSIA operator's profile is the first screen that comes out that applies for all the form that we have, which is the ER form, the CRT form, and the EMP form. So these are the main basic information for the whole three forms that we're going to use it. This is the first example of an CORSIA Airlines, the operator's version of the EMP, the reporting year of this report, and automatically the system will apply the ICAO code, the AOC number, and the AOC date of issue, and the AOC date of expiry. The other information that we see here from the beginning until the end is similar to the Excel report that provided by the operator to the civil aviation. But here, this side, we have two of the address line. One of them is the operator's address. This is the AOC address, the city, AOC city, the state, AOC state, the postcode, AOC postcode, country, and AOC country. Some of these AOC fields are blank because it's only used if the operator provides you with this information. If not, we just fill in these information. The three main common for all of these forms are the contact person, which has the name, the address, the email, the alternate contact person, the legal representative, and the verification body, and the accreditation details and additional information. All of these three must have an attachment to provide the proof of what information have been put in based on the Excel report provided by the operator. This is an example, a real example of a CORSIA emission report provided by an operator to a civil aviation office. It consists of all the information that you see, the airplane, the underlying basic information, fleet and fuel types, density reporting and reporting state pairs, reporting aerodrome pairs, and the data gaps. The tabs that we have are similar. It says here, this is the template information of the operator, the identification, the underlying basic, aeroplane fleet, density, reporting, reporting state pairs, reporting error pairs, and data gaps. Let's get back to the template information and the identification. This is the information they call aeroplane operator identification description of activities, which we showed you in the operator's profile. The name of the operator, the address of the operator, the contact person, and alternate contact person, plus the legal representative, and also the verification body. Now that we are comfortable with the operator's profile information provided, we can go now to the three forms, one by one. First one is the ER form, which is the emission report form, as we see before previously with the Excel report coming from the operator. By clicking on the ER form tab, The system will provide you with the same tabs that we saw in the Excel report. Right on the top from the left-hand side, we have the basic information, aeroplane fuel burn, uploading, fuel type, fuel density, reporting, uploading, table, aerodrome, uploading, table aerodrome, data gaps. If you notice, we added a few more tabs here, which is called the uploading of the information, because sometimes the data is too huge in the Excel sheet. Instead of writing manually one by one, what we can do is we can upload it all in one instant process. So let's take a look at the first one. This is the title. It says Emission Reporting System for CORSIA Airlines. In every one of these tabs, you will notice there is a button that says back to operator's profile. So whenever you're in the middle of any of these tabs, by clicking back to the operator's profile will transfer you back to the first screen. So let's go back to the ER form again. The basic information of ER. This is also information provided by the operator to the civil aviation. We fill it up manually, the reporting year, end of reporting period, date of issue, version, current, approval of the current emission plan at valid from, to, was more than one approved emission. Yes, if it does, you have an explanation, and provide emission for the CORSIA Airlines, fuel use, and fuel allocation with block hour. This is what I'm trying to refer to on underlying basic information: the reporting year, the end of reporting period, date of issue, version, current emission monitoring plan, approval of current emission plan, emission monitoring is valid from, last update was more than one approved emission plan, and then the explanation here, the previous emission plan. Fuel use, if it's using a cert or non-cert. Fuel allocation with block hour. Back to our database. Next, we'll be moving to the aeroplane fuel burn. This is information also provided by the Excel report. If there's nothing to be reported, we just leave everything blank in this field, as we see in the external Excel report. This is the underlying aeroplane fuel burn, and you can see it's black out because it's not being chosen and it cannot be copied or written on it. Next, we'll be moving to a fleet and fuel types. Due to the uploading process required, we click on the uploading of the auto airplane fuel type. Here we'll say, click here for uploading or entry of airplane fuel type table. So by click here, the system will transfer you the process to upload the whole information data coming from the operator through the Excel report. If you notice that most of these excess report are very critical about the number of columns that required to put in, because the process of populated data must be matching to the fields above. This is the A1, aircraft type, aircraft registration, own or lease, fuel use, jet, fuel use type, fuel type B, and fuel and equivalent, and then the operator. The data that we required is available in this aeroplane fleet. We notice it says aeroplane fleet and fuel types. This is all the information. We need to upload this into our Access database. By looking into it again, I say each one must carry a column for it to match the Access database. Here we see this column. It consists only D, but unfortunately, the registration marks doesn't carry one column. It occupied 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 columns. So at this point, we cannot use this because the Access database will look at it as if it was carrying 7 columns. And here we have 2 columns for the own and lease, and 1 column here, 1 column, and 1 column, and 1 column. And here we have a missing column called the equivalent fuel, which most of the Excel report consists of, but not this one. So, but we do have to edit it. So what is the process to upload all the information? First thing, we have to clean up the whole information that we have here by clicking right here, and then we do the shift key into this area. Then we go down to the final of the list itself, another shift key, and click right at this point. This way, the system now allocate all the information in one box. By clicking right as a copy, we find the available empty space where we can do the cleaning of the columns. And this is where we are. We click here, paste, and if you notice now, all these things are covered in the same Excel. By looking at again as one column, fine. This is too much column, so too many columns. So we do is we click the C and the D and the E and F and the G and H, right click, we delete them. So now we have the B, which is aircraft registration, consists of one column. This one has two columns. We do not require the second column. And this is D is one column, E is one, F, G. And if we say we need this for the equivalent field, which is not considered. Now, due to the database report covers all operators, we need to identify that these information or these data belongs to a specific operator. So on this last column, which is the 8th column, we need to write down the name of the operator. Please be sure that the spelling of the operator must match the one in the database, or else it will not link it to the right operator. By pulling it down, the system automatically copied all of it. Now we have a complete data. It doesn't take then more than 2 seconds to do this. Again, we do the same thing here by clicking to the first one and then shift button to the last point. Then shift to the last line. Now it's covering whole information without entering it manually one by one. We just click it, copy. We go back to our Access database. All these fields are available as the way it is programmed. You just click it, normal click, and then right click right here anywhere, and you say paste information. Automatically, the system will populate every column of the data from the Excel report into its own field. Here we see that everything is matching up to the name of the operator on your right-hand side. The question is, you're about to paste 21. Yes, maybe it's more than 21, but still it works the same way, from 1 until thousands of data that can be uploading the same way. This way it's been done. So we close the form. Now you go see the result of what we have done on the fleet and the fuel types. By clicking it, you'll find an empty space. Press the F5 or refreshing, and you find all the information that you have put in is now loaded into the database. Next we do is the fuel density. Nothing but only 2 fields to fill in based on what we saw in the Excel report. The fuel density, it puts down as a standard fuel, and consistency, say yes. Save it. To confirm what we put in on the density, click on the density. It says here standard density and a yes. The next thing we're going to go for is the reporting. Or reporting declares that the aggregation level of reported data for this operator is reporting on a state pair level. Back to the Access database, we find the reporting state pairs. These are just the basic information that you need to put in. It says the total CO2 emission from international flights, total CO2 emission from flight subject to offsetting, total number of international, and all this information, and it's all coming from the Excel report. But if it doesn't have any data, nothing can be put in this. Here we go again. This is the Excel report that we see, the reporting state pairs. No information input here. I don't know how mandatory it is or not, but nothing has been inputted from the operator up to the point of the CORSIA eligible fuel claims. Now we go for the uploading of the state pairs. Now we would go for the uploading if there are data has been entered into the Excel report. So let's check again if the Excel report has the data for the state pairs. By looking into the state of all state pairs, yes, we do have some information. It's 3 lines, say state of departure, state of arrival, CO emission, total rights, fuel type, total mass, fuel conversion, and total CO2 emissions, and the subject to offset everything. We need to upload this regardless if it's only 3 lines or is it 3,000 lines. The same process we did before to make sure that every one of them carries only 1 column for the uploading. On the state of departure, we notice it has 2 columns, and the state of arrival also 2 columns, and yes is 1 column, 2 is got 1 column, fuel type 1, and 1, 1, 1, and 1. So we do have a problem in the state of departure and state of arrival. Just have to clean it up. So the same way we did, we click on the first cell with the shift key, we go to the last cell. And with another shift key, we go to the last point. Now the system cover up everything that we need to upload. Copy it, go to the next available page and paste it. Once you paste it, this is where the cleaning process is. The first one is here having 2 lines. We always skip the first one because that's how the data started the input. So the second of the column is not required, so we just go delete it. The same thing as we have this, the C is not required, we delete it. Now everything is on 1 column. Now by counting it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And the last part, usually always remember to put the operator's name because the database covers every operator's in the system. Pull it down, it will take it all the way down. There you go. Now we have a complete data for us to upload it. Again, we do the first cell and then shift to the last cell on the right. Then click again with the shift to the last cell at the bottom. Copy it. By clicking the uploading, click here for uploading order of state pairs, and the system will provide you with all these fields for you to upload it. Look, we have to make sure that they match the one we have in the Excel by counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and a 10. Now, to make sure it is equal to exactly what we have, let's go back to say we should be covered as a 10. This is the data that we have been copying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and a 10. Yes, it matches the fields and matches the information. Now we can go back again to the Access program and start the uploading. The same thing what we do before, highlight everything, right click, and paste it. And you see the system automatically populated the information as it is. Like we said, it may be 3, it may be 300, maybe 3,000. But if we do the same process, all those 3,000 information without any manual entry will be loaded into this database. Now we close the form. We're going to look at the table of the state pairs to make sure that the data is equal and loaded. By pressing the F5, the system automatically shows you the three lines that we loaded into it. Save the record. Now we go to the aerodrome pairs. The aerodrome pairs, again, we have those same information, either if it's empty, if it's not, but it depends on the Excel report. If you notice on the reporting of aerodrome pairs, it's all been covered and blocked because the operator declared to provide information on the state pairs, not on aerodrome pairs. But for the sake of training, if it's in the matter of aerodrome pairs, we do the same process to do the uploading. Here we see again, if you notice, these are the fields that have to be loaded. Again, we do the same test. The first one here must cover only one column. This is covering two columns. This is covers one. This is two. This is one, 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 and one, and one, and one. So only problem we have is the part of departure and arrival. Again, we do the first click on the first cell, shift to the next, to the first line. And then we go down to the last one. Go down to the last point. Without even reading what it is, we just click it to the last point again with the shift key. Now it's covering the whole data. Right click over here. Now we go back into the Access program that we have. Okay. Next, we move to the uploading of aerodrome, presuming it is an aerodrome pairs. Here it says, click here for uploading auto entry of aerodrome pairs. We clicked over here, you find the same fields that we just picked it up to make sure it matches the way it is, and the data will be inputted in the right spot by counting here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So let's go back into the Excel report and to make sure it's a 12 column. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, which is the operator. So now again, we right click here to have a copy, find a space, one empty space page, and paste it. Now we start with the cleaning. The first one we have is a 1A, which is one column. The B has, the United whatever, has two columns, so we have to get rid of one. And the same thing, we have the sorry, I think I delete the, okay, here we go. We did this, all right? So we delete that line. Now we have 1, 2, 3. Here's a 2, 1. So we remove the E, and now it becomes E1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, which is the operator's name. Make sure again that the spelling is exactly as it is, or else it will be not going into the operator's database. CORSIA Airline, for example, and should cover everything. It could do it either from the beginning or from the last. Just drag the plus sign and you will cover everything. Now that we have everything in place, we do the right click and we do a copy of it. Sorry. There you go. From here, shift again till the end of the last line. Shift and click. So now we have covered the whole data we have. Do the right click, do a copy. Now we are back. All we do is the same thing. We click it, do the right click, and paste it. Now see that how 409 records has been populated in each column to each field that we have in Access database. We do want to do it? Yes. Just do a check of it. The airport departure, the state departure, airport arrival, state of arrival, CRT, yes and no, number of flights, fuel, total mass, total CO2 emission, subject, and operator. All this information now is in its place. And you notice on the top here, everywhere we have a total collection of the CO2 emission. For this operator on the aerodrome pairs covered 34798 by adding the information or the numbers we have here. Now we close the form. We go back to our table. This is our database table. No, sorry, not this, aerodrome and table aerodrome pairs. And then we do the F5 and automatically the system populated all the information we have now in the database. We have provided a button here called the ICAO Airports. Since one of the users is asking, how would I know what is this code means? We just do a click on the ICAO Airport. They will give you the indication of what airports are these. Next, we do for data gaps. It's just a normal, straightforward questions. By putting anything in here, it says, did any data gaps occur during reporting year? We will answer that based on the Excel external. Is the threshold of 5%? Is it going to be yes or no? And percentage of data gaps. Once you start filling in, the operator's name will be appearing in the yellow box. Next, we have the list of data. If there is any of this 5%, it will come with this form. This little yellow or white dots is an indication of help. So by clicking on this reference, it will tell you what it means. Describe the data gap, blah, blah, blah. And then you go down to the course, it tells you what the course means. Click on this type, it will tell you what is the type about. And the replacement method and the CO2 emission, it tells you provide the amount in tons. And then that's it. And then you save the record. And this will end up the first part one of entering the emission report from the Excel report from the operator to civil aviation. By clicking back to the operator's profile, you have now all the information of the ER form. To see what we have done, we have two quick look at this in AR state summary reports and ER aerodrome summary reports. By clicking the state summary report that we fill in, we'll see what we have done. The information now provide me, these are the 3 lines of the state with this, and it is a printable report. By click report print, it will print for you, and also indication of the CO2 emission total in here. By closing the print, back again. If you're looking into aerodrome summary reports, click on the aerodrome summary report. It will give you all about this CORSIA Airlines and the total CO2 emission with page 1, page 2, page 3, because it's quite a big list. And everything is covered here. Again, we can say we can print it or we just look at it and then close the print. And that's in part 1 of the CORSIA Reporting System. Thank you. We'll come back for the second part to look into the CRT form and the planning form.